Arsenal are officially Premier League champions for the first time in 22 years. Make sure to like and subscribe. And let's get straight into it because City dropped points to Bournemouth, which officially gives the title to Arsenal. And big congratulations to them. I'm not the biggest fans of their fan base, but they have a lot of players that I like and that I respect. I like Lewis Skelly. I like Declan Rice. I like their center backs. I respect their goalkeeper, Saka. Like, there's a lot of players that I love in Kapie. They have a lot of players that I like and respect, and you got to give huge props to the players and to Arteta himself. Arteta has built such a solid, and his project has officially gotten some gold, gotten a trophy, thanks to Arteta, the way he's built the team, the defensive solidarity, being finishing the chances they have on top. And a lot of people won't like it. A lot of people don't respect or like Arsenal, but now they're making you respect them. They're a team that ever since they beat us last season in the semifinals, I've respected them to an extent, right? Like I said, I don't like their fan base, but what they built, the players they have, the football they've been playing ever since that City lost, they've had very good and interesting games. It's not like they've been boring for the last couple of weeks. They started the season off playing very good football. They would win their corners, score their headers, and then there was a patch where they were pretty boring. There was a patch from December to like February, right, where it was very boring. But after that City loss, they actually played very nice and good, enjoyable football. Yes, they were winning a lot of 1-0s, 1-0s, West Ham, even yesterday against Crystal Palace, not the other day, right, against Burnley. It wasn't the best of football. Well, once again, they do what they had to do, right? And it was City had the title in their hands. All they had to do was win every single game. But again, they dropped points to Everton at Everton's ground, and now they drop points to Bournemouth at Bournemouth's ground, which is huge, huge news for Arsenal. The videos are coming out. They were watching the game. They were excited for it because let's be honest, this Bournemouth game for City, it was one of those games where it was very possible for City to drop points. This was the game that once they beat Arsenal, right, in that one-on-one game with them, this was the game where I thought that City could drop points. They dropped points earlier against Everton, but Bournemouth is just one of those teams that this season has been immense. They're still undefeated. I think they're on like 15, 16 games undefeated run. They're fighting for Europa League. They're fighting for European positions. Bournemouth will always be a tough game. It will always be a difficult game for them to do. It will be very. It would have been very. It would have been very convincing of City if they beat Bournemouth. But once again, Bournemouth with the players they have, the Krupi, Ryan, the Alex Scott in midfield, Senesi, they have a very solid players, very solid team, very solid manager who's going to be looking forward to better jobs in this summer. So big shout out to Bournemouth. But once again, this is Arsenal. This is Arsenal season. They were the best team. They have the best defense. They have the best goalkeeper. Even though a lot of people like talking about Donnarumma, I'm not the biggest fan of Donnarumma. So best goalkeeper, best defense, some of the best midfielders, and best attack. Although a lot of people have criticized Kai Havertz, a lot of people have criticized Gyökeres. But once again, Gyökeres for the last couple of weeks has been scoring goals and winning Arsenal games. He won them the tie against Atleti. Then you look at Kai Havertz yesterday against who was it? Against Burnley, like I said, scoring the header. They've shown up when they had to show up. Gyökeres scored goals when he had to score goals. I said at the beginning of the season, I don't think he's going to be a game-changing type of player, but he's going to be a player that scores and against the smaller teams, against the mid blocks that Arsenal struggle with. The last couple of seasons, Arsenal would drop points to Fulham. They would drop points to West Ham. They would drop points to Everton. Those were the teams they would always drop points to. But now they have players like Gyökeres who scored. He scored against Fulham. He scored against Everton, and he won in the game against West Ham. So whether people like it or not, Arsenal have earned the Premier League. This has been their title. It's been their season. There was a point in there where City were nowhere near it. Arsenal let themselves down by letting City get close to them. But City have let themselves down ever since they got up there with City. Some may even say they bottled it because it was in their hands. I talked about it in the videos. I said Arsenal's not out, but this is now in City's hands. I thought City could win every game, and it was pretty convincing by the way they beat Arsenal, by the way they won the games from prior to that, right? But then they went on to face Burnley 1-0, right? That's when I started saying this City is still the same City from the beginning of the season. I still had our City to win it. But once again, they slipped up against Everton. They were losing 3-1. They tied the game. And it's just City this season. It's too inconsistent, too weak in the back. They've conceded a lot of chances. Donnarumma saved them a lot, but Donnarumma also cost them a lot. But Arsenal had the solidarity. Right? Raya had made no mistakes. Donnarumma made mistakes. Arsenal's defense made no mistakes. City's defense kept making mistakes. So it's one of those things where Arsenal, with what Arteta built, with the players they signed, if they wanted to go attacking, they'll put in Calafiori and Ben White. If they wanted to be defensive, they'll put in Julian Timber and Capie. If they wanted to attack in midfield, they'd put Rice with Lewis Skelly and Odegaard and Eze. Or if they wanted to defend, he'd put in Dewey Mendy, he'd put in Rice, and he'd put in someone else, right? But Arteta was able to manage it pretty well for what they had to manage, right? A lot of people are trying to take away from Arsenal. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, wait till the PSG game," but at the end of the day, Arsenal are Premier League champions, and it's massive for them. They are a big club in England. I think they're probably the third biggest club in England. They have the players, they have the fans, they have the money, and now they have the title again after 22 years. I don't think you guys are comprehending how much 22 years is. I think as a neutral who watches the Premier League without any bias towards any specific team, I could comprehend and enjoy and just look at things in a good manner, right? Because Arsenal 22 years without a prem, that's a long time. That was Henri and Bergkamp and Arsene Wenger Arsenal, but now you have this new Arsenal under Arteta. It's taken them 6 years. Yes, they have bottled it for the last 2 3 years, but once again, this has been their season. This has been their moment. When Saka got injured, they dropped down, but when Saka came back, they rose back up. He's had assists, he's had goals, he's had moments. Arsenal have done what they had to do, and City hasn't, and Liverpool hasn't, and Man United hasn't. Chelsea hasn't. And next season will be next season. In the summer, once everything is done, everything will go back to normal. Everything will reset, as a fan, I'm gonna go back to looking to see what happens next season, right? But this season specifically, Arsenal have done 22 years. The thing with this Arsenal team, right, is that when they started dropping points, their fans would just break. Their fans would break. Their fans would start shaking. Where they start making videos saying, start making an emergency video, start making different things, right? But I think this will help in next season. Definitely, this will definitely help in next season. When there's a moment where they drop points, they will have that confidence that, what, stay calm. We got this, right? Stay calm. And Declan Rice, I think, is the guy for that. I think Declan Rice, after that City win, a lot of people made fun of him for saying this isn't over. It's funny how people just like to make fun of English media, especially. They just like to make fun of their players. And in that moment, yes, it maybe if they lost to City, maybe it wasn't the best moment to do it. But what's wrong? He was 100% correct. That's the thing. When you say things before something happens, you look dumb. You don't look like you're doing it. But once they now that they did it, what are people going to say? There's nothing to say about Rice. There's nothing to say about Saka. Yes, Saka had a slow season, but what can you say about him? Their defense probably the best. I know Gabriel had a good 4 months, 3 months, 3 early months. But from there, Saliba, I think, was probably their best defender. I think he was outstanding in every facet of the game: Champions League, Premier League, going forward, defending low space, defending in the low block, defending high up. Like Saliba was just amazing, and he was just class the entire season. Gabriel as well. I think Saliba was better. Like and now Arsenal have won it. I made a video talking about Bruno Fernandes, talking about who should win Player of the season, right? I think if you asked an Arsenal fan, I don't think they really care who wins it. I don't think they really care if Rice wins it. I don't think it really matters to them because they're Premier League champions. But now, like I said in that video, I think if Arsenal win, I think they have to give it to Declan Rice because he's been the guy in that team. And if you're the guy in an Arsenal team that won the Premier League after 22 years, I think you deserve the Premier League Man of the Match. He was the guy that kept them up. He was the guy that defended in that game against Burnley yesterday. The amount of balls he would win, the amount of recoveries he had to do, it was just so impressive. There was one play by Burnley in the box where the player was coming from outside the box alone, and Declan Rice was able to to get on it perfect timing. Like there's so many things that Declan Rice does right, and I think he deserves the Player of the Season this season. I know Bruno Fernandes might break the record on the last day. I know Bruno Fernandes has been outstanding, but Premier League title after 22 years for Arsenal, being the best player in the team, being the captain or one of the captains, or at least the biggest leader in that team, being the most influential in midfield. Whether he's playing in eight with Zubimendi behind him, whether he's playing in the six with Miles Lewis Skelly right next to him. Declan Rice has been the best player, and you have to give big props to everyone in that Arsenal team. The goalkeeper, the defense, the midfield, even the attack, even though you guys might not like it. And then, above all, I think Arteta has to be the main guy that everyone gives props to, because I've hated on him. I've talked about him. Arsenal fans have talked about him. The world has talked about him. But he has officially given a Premier League title to Arsenal after 22 years. I will not stop saying that because it is a huge, huge accomplishment. You guys will not say anything because you guys hate Arsenal. You guys don't like them. I don't like their fans. But you have I like their players. I respect their manager, and I just respect the club overall. So at the end of the day, congrats to Arsenal. You guys have won the Premier League for the first time in 22 guys years. You guys have deserved it. The project has officially gotten its stamp of trophy. You guys have officially been involved in the Arsenal history. You guys are officially part of Arsenal history. You guys have earned it. You guys have done it. Arsenal are Premier League champions after 22 years. Congratulations to you guys. Congratulations.